and welcome to the Encourager Podcast with me, Rebekah Scott. I believe that if you desire an active, impactful role in your children's lives while simultaneously wanting to provide an income for your family, then being a mompreneur is exactly what you need to work at home. The Encourager Podcast is my way of inspiring and motivating you with insightful knowledge, tips, and advice from myself and other successful working women who want to put their families first. Grab a pen or get your brain ready to take notes for this week's powerful episode. Hello, Encouragers. This is Rebekah Scott, and today's episode is kind of exciting because it's something that I'm doing in my own business as well. So first off, I tell you what's going on in the studio. This morning, all of the kids do not have to go to school, so I've got all my chicks in one basket, and I couldn't be a happier mommy. I love that when it happens. So they will be running in and out, I am sure, checking out my cool new microphone, so hopefully my sound will be better. So that's what's going on there. Today's changes, I'm still in like the January glow because I love goal setting, and I have meetings pretty much all afternoon with my own staff about how to set numbers and attain goals. And every podcast and book that I've read in the last 6 weeks is all about how to set goals, not just like lolly-dolly goals like, oh, I want to lose weight, something vague, like very specific. I want to lose 1 pound a week for 6 weeks, or whatever your goal is, or I want to gross 100,000 in my first year of business, or whatever it is, but then breaking it down. So I love goal setting, as you can tell. This podcast is called the 1% Change, and how 1% will compound into multiple percents when you just start with 1%. So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to take all this on in January as we have this momentum and we have this adrenaline and we're going to get all this stuff done, and then in 6 weeks we burn out, I want you to think of it like this. What if I just made a 1% change? Just 1%. So I have a few examples, but as you are writing your goals, and you list out, my recommendations would be, what are your physical goals for 2016? What are your mental goals? What are your spiritual goals? What are your personal goals? And what are your business goals for 2016? List those out and be specific. What do you want to attain in your physical world? Do you want to run a 5K by the summertime? Do you want to run 10 5Ks? Do you want to complete one exercise program with a friend? Mental goals. What do you want to read this year? Do you want to take a course? There is thousands of online courses. Do you want to take one of those courses? Do you want to take 2 of those courses? Spiritual goals. Do you want to get to where you've read the Bible all the way front to back, or taken a Bible study where it's really involved and you get to learn more? Or you're going to learn to meditate. What are your personal goals? I want to make sure that I'm up every morning at 5:15, or I want to have my dream big time. What are your personal goals? And then also your business goals. And honestly, the business goals for me take up the most amount of time, and I get probably the most excited about those because I love what I do. And so setting those goals is something we'll be doing this afternoon with my staff, and I'm super psyched. But write those goals down. And then I want you to 1% it. And what I mean by that is, just think of it as if I just changed it by 1% this week, how that would compound by the end of the year. So let's say you're going to stop drinking pop or coffee or whatever your vice is. I'm going to stop smoking. And you're like, oh my gosh, do I just go cold turkey? Well, you could do that. But what if you 1% it? So you're just going to drink Diet Coke. On Tuesdays, you're not going to drink Diet Coke. You drink Diet Coke every other day of the week, but Tuesdays, you can't have a Diet Coke. That's just a 1% change. And then, maybe in 4 weeks' time, you're like, all right, Tuesdays and Thursdays, no Diet Coke. And then you're like, all right, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, no Diet Coke. You see how it starts compounding because you start to get used to it? Or maybe it's a sugar thing. You're going to deal without sugar. I've done fasts where I've gone without sugar for 40 whole days. It was beneficial, and I did learn a lot from it. It was difficult. But I kind of wonder if I would have just 1%ed it, how much faster and more sustainable that goal would have been, because I got back on sugar, no problem. So I kind of wonder if I would have gone slower, if it would have worked better. I did that with chocolate for myself. I love chocolate, and I've become a chocolate snob now. So now I really am that dark chocolate snob on TV who's like, oh, I love dark chocolate. And I'd be like, whatever, give me my milk chocolate. But I started to become, I got off of the sugar. So then I started doing the dark chocolate. and really liking it and really enjoying it and savoring it so that I don't have to have so much of it, but I can still have a taste of the chocolate that I love. So think of a goal and then 1% it. So another couple examples is like, okay, I'm going to clean my house 2 times a month and just really, really, really deep clean. Well, what if you decided that every night after work, you were just going to do one of the chores? Like on Mondays, you're going to vacuum. On Tuesdays, you're going to dust. On Wednesdays, you're going to do the bathrooms. What if you just 1% that goal? Instead of going at it like cold turkey or just full bore before you burn yourself out, which I am like, that is me to a T. So I am embracing this 1% change and how much longer the change will occur if I just did it by 1% at a time. It goes to show also with your workouts, if you're like, I'm going to join a program and I'm going to go Monday through Friday at 5 a.m., but you normally don't wake up till 7:30 because you've got the children and you've been up late because you stay up late because that's when you can get something done. Do you really think that is sustainable? No way. So how could you 1% that? One morning a week, you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. to do your workout, or 3 days a week, you're going to work out with the kiddos at 9 a.m. doing a yoga class. How could you 1% your goals? And I guarantee they won't stay 1% for very long because you get some momentum and it's attainable. And then you're like, ooh, I'm going to attack the next thing, and not thinking of it like, I'm just going to go all out and full bore and 100%. What if you 1% it, and pretty soon it'll compound into 100%, but start with 1%. Another couple of ideas is if you want to declutter your home, which I think is very important. I am a pitcher. Like Nicholas knows, if you leave something out on the table and you have not told me that it needs to be filed or saved, I am going to throw it out because there's too much going on in my life to have clutter. I hate it. So I decided, I was like, oh, it's time for a purge, which I love purging. I take a Saturday and I purge everything, but I stopped doing it as often because I started getting busier with my business. And then it would just like literally itch underneath my skin where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need 2 hours to go purge. Well, I started thinking, how could I 1% this? So now one drawer every night, just the weeknights, I clean out just one drawer. So I can get it off my chest. I can feel in control, but I'm still purging and cleaning and organizing. So I just do the magazine rack, or I just do the junk drawer. And by the way, because I'm big on timing, do you know how long it takes to do that? It's like 10, 15 minutes max. I mean, literally, that's all it takes to purge, clean out that drawer, free up that space in your brain, in your life, to introduce new things into that space. So that's how you can 1% organizing things. How could you 1% making your relationship better with your spouse? How could you do that? Well, 1% would just be asking them 3 times a week, how can I help you? Or just 1 time a week, how can I help you? Hopefully you'll get into the habit of doing it every day, but maybe that's just not possible. And the 1% rule would be just tiny little goals. Just ask them on Monday morning, what can I do for you this week that would be really helpful, honey? That's amazing. Nick loves when I ask him that question. And mine is a daily habit now, but for you, just start slowly, or 1 date night a month. That would be a 1% thing. Let's say you want to be held more accountable to not being on your phone so much when you're around your kids. Big thing, big complaint of all of us. And we're like, oh, I don't want to be that mom. Well, sometimes we are that mom, or we're judging who that mom is. So in order to 1% not being on my phone so much, what would that mean for you? Maybe it means putting your phone behind your car seat while you're driving. Maybe it's something like that, but maybe you need to have it next to you for directions or whatever. So you just do that 1 day a week. Or 1 evening a week, you completely shut the phone off. Like it's not even turned on. I think that would be glorious, but I'm Laura Ingalls Wilder when it comes to cell phones. I don't like to be on mine or anything like that, but I do understand that it is a necessity. But how could you cut down on your cell phone use or your screen use? How much TV you're watching. If you want to break that down, 1 evening a week, instead of doing the routine of watching TV in the background or watching TV with your children, you do a puzzle. You do something other than being on a screen. How could you 1% it? If you're aiming at trying to get up earlier in the morning, how could you 1% that? You could choose 1 morning a week that you wake up at 5 a.m., or you could say, I'm going to get up 10 minutes earlier every day for this month. That's just 1%ing it. Just 10 minutes, just 10 minutes earlier. You could totally do that until it became habit, and getting up earlier would be this just natural thing that you do. Now, obviously only going by 10 minutes, it's going to take a while for you to get used to that, but it will be wonderful when you can get there. I guarantee, man, mornings is it. You know how I preach about mornings, but seriously, mornings, get up earlier. Just tell yourself, I'm just going to do 10 minutes earlier every morning for a week. That 1% will turn into a 30% change by the end of the week, by the end of the month. You can 1% any goal in your life. You can 1% the physical goals, the mental goals, the spiritual goals, the personal goals, and the business goals. You can do 1% change very easily. So from now on, when you set those goals for 2016 and you're tackling your great big business idea, or you're starting something new for your family or your spouse, I want you to 1% it. Because by the end of the year, it's going to be amazing what that one little percent did. And I want you to take it one step further. I want you to keep a 1% journal. I have a 1% journal, and my staff has 1% journal sitting next to them, and they have to report back to me each week what their 1% change was. And it doesn't have to be related to Rebekah Scott Designs, my business. It can be related to their own personal life, but they need to have a 1% tracker notebook next to them. Because I want them to make these little tiny changes that compound into big things. And I want to be able to track it. You know, sometimes people ask, how did you get to where you are? And I've got some answers. I know that I worked really hard, but I thought, how cool would it be to refer back to this 1% notebook of how things compounded into big things? So go get your 1% notebook, look at your goals, and 1% them. Until next time, stay encouraged. Here we go for 2016. Thank you so much for tuning in today, encouragers. Get ready. 2016 is going to be rockin'. I have a surprise that you won't want to miss. I am offering one-on-one coaching for you in 2016. If you're liking what you hear and would like to have me as your personal coach for life or business, contact us at info@shoprSD.com. I would love to partner with you and encourage you with your goals for your business and your home life. As always, please subscribe to the show so that the latest episode will always be conveniently available on your device. Don't forget to check out the show notes on my website at shoprSD.com. That's shop with R as in Rebecca, S as in Scott, and D as in designs.com. The Encourager Podcast tab is at the top of the website, which holds some great resources like my recommended book page, how to rate and review my podcast, and reflection guides that correspond with each episode. Do your homework. Each review and rating is so valuable to us. I sincerely hope you feel encouraged and empowered to tackle anything that comes your way this week. Until next time on The Encourager.